2020 blew some major ass, but at least fall 2020's anime season brought us the adaptation of a series that has already cemented itself as being one of Shonen Jump's pillars for years to come. It brought us another phenomenal adaptation from MAPPA in the form of Gege Akutami's Jujutsu Kaisen. And you know what? It's great. Jujutsu Kaisen is awesome. It's not unsurprising to see Shonen Jump titles explode in popularity like Jujutsu Kaisen has, especially in recent years, with Demon Slayer's adaptation causing it to reign over the world of manga during 2020. I'm really glad that Jump is getting smarter when it comes to scheduling production for manga that they want to blow up, and because of it, we've been getting banger adaptations from My Hero Academia to recently Jujutsu Kaisen. Apart from Black Clover, they fucked that one up, but that's a rant for another day. Well, let's go back to Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a series loaded with positives, from realistic, lovable characters to a really interesting power system that clearly took inspiration from Hunter x Hunter, which leads to really cool fights. There's also apparent inspiration from Bleach in terms of the style that Gege Akutami uses to portray his characters and to tell a story. The main character, Yuji Itadori, is a lovable, goofy dumbass, and he kinda reminds me of Luffy early on. The show revolves around Jujutsu sorcerers who go around and take down curses using cursed energy, which is born from negative emotions. The concept of getting stronger and stronger as you embrace these negative emotions seems really neat to me, and it gives an insight as to how some of these characters are as people. Yuji fits into this story as he harbors the most powerful curse of them all inside of him, a very evil guy by the name of Sukuna, and he has to go around eating all of Sukuna's fingers. That sounds weird. Anyways, I really like how Yuji doesn't have a regular shonen MC aspiration of becoming something like the Wizard King or the Pirate King or the number one hero. He's come to grips with the fact that he's gonna die, and the dilemma of choosing whether or not he wants to die now or delay his inevitable death is a very interesting one. He's always questioning what it means to have a proper death because of what he experienced with his grandfather, and is often conflicted throughout the series when it comes to killing. His reason for wanting to help others is also very grounded, and it comes from a very wholesome spot since it comes from his grandfather's final request, which seems to have struck a chord with him. The supporting cast is also pretty neat as well. We've got Gojo, your regular Shonen Jump badass sensei that everyone loves, except here when they say he's the strongest, he really is the strongest. He has the power to destroy all of the sorcerers around him, but he doesn't, because that wouldn't help save the Jujutsu world, and he depends on the future generation to build up on the foundation that he's already set, which I find to be a really cool way to look at all of this. We've got our main trio of Yuji, Nobara, and Fushiguro. I like the dynamics between these three, especially since there isn't any shitty forced shonen romance involved between them, which makes them seem like a group of friends that evolve as the series go on. They do a bunch of dumbass shit together, a bunch of smartass shit together, and the way they speak with each other is very reminiscent of how teenagers usually speak as each other. In terms of them individually, I found Fushiguro to be really interesting, especially since his family is hinted at being legendary, and he was even recognized by Sukuna at the beginning because of his potential. Nobara, on the other hand, I don't really have a reason to care about her yet, but I really do like her attitude, and it's really different from the mold of those really soft ooh girls that you usually find in these types of shows. And Nanamine, well, he's just fucking cool. Like, really fucking cool. His voice actor does an S-tier job when it comes to voicing him, and he always gives off this really cold, composed, but badass vibe. I really liked his mini rant about bread, and I thought it really grounded him as being a more adult character. He's worked in a corporate job like many of the older audience has, and they know what people will do and the type of scummy things that people do in business to get more money, to get more power. And the fact that he's worried about small things like his bread going away is something that, the audience can relate to, and I can see why he's such a popular character. He also has a really cool power, and this dude straight up just ratios people. It's sick. And that's a good segue into the power system. It reminds me a lot of Hunter x Hunter's power system, except it seems very watered down. I like the concept of domain expansions and conditions, and how different characters have different powers based on how they manipulate cursed energy. Gojo's power is fucking sick, even though it's ridiculously broken in concept. The idea of his red and blue and purple sides are really cool, and I like how the author utilizes math and physics to explain his power. The domain expansions of the curses are also really creepy and perfectly fit the curses themselves, and this is likewise for the quote-unquote good guys like Gojo as well. Speaking of the curses, Mahito is neat, I guess. I don't really care about him right now. He kind of reminds me of Shigaraki from My Hero Academia, and I'm assuming he gets amazing as the series goes on, but as the series states, he's basically an infant in terms of what kind of curse he is right now. As for now, I'm far more interested in characters like Geto and Sukuna. Now, I could go on about the characters and why Panda is the greatest anime character of all time and how his philosophy will never be understood by us mere mortals, but I really want to talk about the anime adaptation itself. It's gorgeous. There's so much love and passion behind this adaptation, and it oozes everywhere. You can tell that the 2 years of pre-production were not wasted, and it really goes to show how valuable time is when it comes to making a really good anime. From the phenomenal openings, which are directed by the legendary Shingo Yamashita, to the fight sequences, to the really good endings. Seriously, Lost in Paradise is one of the most groovy EDs I've ever seen. The second ED perfectly captures the nostalgic and relaxed feeling of a home video, and the last sequence of it never fails to make me smile. I'm not an expert in animation, but I've gotta say the art and composition look top notch. The fight scenes are out of this world. Talented animators like Keiichiro Watanabe and Tatsuya Yoshihara bring their A game when it comes to these scenes, and I can't help but marvel at how nutty they look. Yuji and Todo vs Hanami was a masterclass spectacle, and even minor fights like Novara vs Momo looked amazing. Most importantly, they gave my boy Gojo some pretty ass eyes. I don't even care if this is a Gojo Sim video, like god damn, look at his eyes. You can't tell me your jaw didn't drop to the floor the first time you saw him take off that blindfold, or when you saw Hollow Purple for the first time. And then we have the soundtrack. It fits so well within the setting of the show, and the composer has done a great job in tailoring different tracks to different situations. The OST has a bit of a creepy, spacey kind of sound when it comes to dealing with curses and encounters, and it ramps up when fights between major characters go down. I really like Gojo's theme in particular, which encompasses Gojo's badassery, along with the mysterious vibe that he always carries around him. Overall, Jujutsu Kaisen is super solid, and I again have to give a huge shout out to Mappa and his staff for giving it such an amazing adaptation. I've only read a little bit of the manga so far, and I plan on catching up on it since people have been hyping the hell out of the Shibuya incident, and I'll probably make a video on it once I do catch up. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this first video. If you guys want any more Jujutsu Kaisen content or any Shonen Jump content in general, please let me know, and apart from that, have a good one.